I actually met with Coach Pruitt in his office, and I asked him if there's any headway in it, because I heard I was supposed to be getting it. And there's rumors around the locker room and stuff like that, and I talked to him about it, and he said I actually got off the phone. He just got put on scholarship, so I just went up there at the perfect time, and he told me.
When did that happen?
That happened last Tuesday.
What are the emotions that you had, when you finally hear that news?
Excited, very relieved. Felt like a ton of weight just got lifted off of my shoulders. It was really emotional for me and my family. A very, very emotional moment.
Is James hiring now?
Yes, they are. Actually, I'm not sure, but I know they will be in a minute.
Have you given them your 2 weeks, or?
No, not yet.
Okay.
Not yet.
This is it, I guess.
About how many hours a week were you working?
Well, it varied during the season. During the season, I kind of would pick up hours like after practice, because I didn't have a set number of when we'd be done with practice. So whenever I got out of practice, I'd text my manager and see if he had any hours available for me. He would, and we just worked together. And I'm so thankful for them just having a good like work relationship with my managers and champs, and they've been nothing but supportive of me and my dreams. So.
Paul, you mentioned how emotional it was with your family. What was that like? What did you say to him? Say to your family? How'd that go down?
I actually just called my mom. I called my mom after he told me. I called him outside the locker room because I didn't want my teammates to see me cry or anything. And then I told her, I was like, Mom, I finally got put on a scholarship. And then she just started breaking down, crying. I started tearing up a little bit. I'm not going to say I cried, but it was very emotional for all of us.
How long would you say that's been a dream of yours, to get, once you came from Tuscaloosa, obviously it's something that was on your mind?
I think it's been a dream since I since I got to college and I saw all the work that my parents was putting in just to get me to school and trying to get me through school. I think it was a big motivation for me to kind of take that load off from not just my parents' backs, but also my own back, to finally tell them, hey, I got this right now. And that meant a lot to me.
What extra stuff did they do to help you get, the monster support?
They just working any way they could. They took extra hours just like I did, and they just worked to the bone for me, and I love them to death for it.
What do they do?
The last time I worked was probably right before training camp. Right before training camp, I think the Sunday before we had to report to camp, I worked tax-free week.
What do your parents do?
My dad is a geriatric physician, and my mom is a manager of his office.
How's that journey been from Tuscaloosa when you spent time there? What have you learned? What did you learn there, and what have you learned since being at UTEP?
What I learned at Tuscaloosa was hard work. What I learned at Tuscaloosa was there's a lot of work that you have to be put in before anybody notices. You have to work the extra mile if you really have a dream and you really want to believe in it. There's countless hours. I can't tell you that I was in Tuscaloosa's gym just pumping iron past the workout dates. After practice, I'd go down there, get stronger, get faster. I was looking up stats of players playing on this level and comparing my weight and stuff like that to the constant defensive lineman, and just working to the bone anytime I could. I was reviewing film, reviewing highlights of not just NFL players but college players, because I knew where I wanted to be, and I was just chasing my dreams. So Tuscaloosa taught me how to put in the extra work and do whatever's necessary if you truly believe that you can do something.
So, Paul, because of your journey, did you have a different appreciation and respect for ETSU and the players that came in to face UT this past weekend?
Oh, definitely. When I see, really, there's nobody on my schedule that I overlook or anything, because I always remind myself that they were recruited. Everybody who I'm playing against was recruited over me. So I think that's a chip on my shoulder that I take into every single game. So I don't overlook anybody. I respect every opponent as if they're the best opponent, because at one point they were considered better than me, and I still carry that chip on my shoulder because they were recruited over me. So that's a different perspective I put into it. So that's why I put my all in every single time I get a snap on the field.
Now, what does this defensive line need to do to generate more consistent pressure?
I think we're just working. We just need to continue to work. We're focused on just getting better each and every day, and that's the only thing we can do. Just keep practicing, keep working at it.
What are some of your personal goals now that you're on squad?
My personal goals is continue to play at a high level, continue to try to get better at each and every day and each and every week, and continue to try to motivate other people on and off the field to believe in their dreams and continue to pursue that anything is possible, and I hope my story just can affect somebody, and somebody who's down or didn't think they can accomplish something. They can just look at my story and think, hey, I'm just a kid who worked at Champs on a farm, wasn't recruited very much, and now I'm in a position where I'm playing in front of 102,000 people, and that's just a dream that I just took to the very end. So I hope somebody sees my story and continues to work and sees that anything is possible as long as they put the work in for it.
Paul, you'd have to try out when you came here, or kind of how did that go about you getting on the team when you transferred here?
I actually did have to try out. When I talked to, like, when I got admitted to the school. First thing I did was I came up here and talked to Coach Abernathy, and then Coach Abernathy talked to the coaching staff, and then after that I tried out, and then the next day I got put right on the team, and that was just a blessing because I just felt it was great. It was one of the best moments of my life, honestly.
What did you have to do in all that tryout? And was there like a list of players that made it posted like outside the door of the complex? Kind of how did you find out? Did they call you?
They called me. I pretty much had to run a bunch of football position drills, get my height and my weight, and then after I did all that, it was kind of like the most nerve-wracking about 24 hours of my life because, again, I say after I left Tusculum, I wasn't sure if I just played my last down of football, so I was just waiting by the phone, constantly clicking it, seeing if a phone call was coming or anything, and I finally did, and I got the good news.
How do you assess your play through 2 games? What are the positives? What are the things that you think you'd like to get better at?
There's a lot of things I think I want to get better at. I think the only thing I can do is just keep improving. I think my assessment is more or less kind of coincides with what Coach is saying, so we're kind of working together, and then I'm just trusting what they're saying, so I just need to get better in a lot of things.
When you went to Coach Pruitt's office last week, did you think he was going to say no, or what did you think? You said you were kind of giving it a shot, asking if there's anything available. What did you think was going to be the outcome of that?
Honestly, I don't know. I just, took another shot in the wind, took another shot in the dark. That's just what I'm used to, just taking shots in the dark, and hopefully it hits, and then I hit again. So
what do you want to do after your football career, in terms of your job, your career? What do you want to do with all that?
I want to go into dentistry, and actually want to open up my own dentist practice, and I have a vision where I want to go into like rural areas and help people where dental care really isn't as accessible or available, because I feel like a person's smile is a very powerful tool that everybody should have the ability to use, because it can start conversations and it can open doors for people, but people tend to overlook that concept. So I want to go into rural areas and kind of give people who don't feel like they have the ability to use that tool, to give them the power to use that tool. So that's my motivation and my dentistry and my passion to want to help others.
What did that come from? What made you interested in dentistry, do you think?
My father, he went into medicine, and the way he helped people and impacted people. My mother was actually a nurse too, and she used to tell me stories of how just her interactions with people would turn people's mentality around and continually just give people more positive outlook on life. And I think that's one of the most powerful things somebody can do, is when you change somebody's outlook on life and you give them more motivation to continue to keep going. That's something that can never be measured by any stat or any number. So that's why I love the game of football, and that's also why I love what I do, and I love helping people. So.
Hey, Jeremy Banks had some really tough physical runs. Have you had any battles, any one-on-one trying to tackle him? How tough is he in practice to try to bring down?
He's a hammer. He's a hammer. There's 2 types of players: there's a hammer and a nail, and he definitely has identified himself as a hammer. We definitely respect him as a hammer. He's a hard runner. He makes us all better. I love the energy. He comes in tons of emotion, and he helps us all get better each and every day, and he brings the energy to practice every day. He has a lot of respect. He gets a lot of respect from us too.
All right, we good?
Okay.
Thanks, Paul.
Thanks, Paul.
Thank you, Paul.